Oh god, I see her little paw reaching under the door. Hi all, I'm gonna open the door a crack so that the cat doesn't scratch the door down. Hi Nike. Yes, I know. Okay, hi, happy Sunday. Nike did start trying to claw under the door literally right as I started streaming, so good for you, Nike. So yeah, hi, happy Sunday. I did miss Thursday. I was having some indigestion, so I was just like, I'll skip it. So we're just shoving the followers series back a week, so really is very simple, not a lot to say about it. We'll pick that back up on Thursday. The cat is now in my lap. She's very cute and soft. She's been, I think they're both getting used to having us around all the time. Nike's kind of been a brat lately, and by lately I mean over the last, 6 or so months, about food. She is not really. We started giving her wet food, and she seemed really excited about that at first, but then she became very, very picky about her wet food and would only eat one flavor of one brand of food. I think she was just having some medical issues then, because she was very underweight. She was struggling. We took her to the vet and they couldn't really figure out what was wrong because Nike is terrible at the vet, aren't you? She has a warning on her file because they need to bring out the big leather gloves to handle her and have two people there while she howls like she is being murdered. Anyway, so yeah, the vet did his best, but there's only so much you can do without sedating her, and he didn't sedate her, so. Anyway, the food that she likes has been out of stocks for a while, so we've been trying to get her to eat different brands of salmon pate, and it's sort of working. She likes some better than others. She does not like the one we have right now, and she's very angry about it. But now she's just staring out the window at something I can't see, so she seems good. Oh, kitten, what's out there? Echo's also staring at the door. They're both in here now because, they need to have access to all parts of the apartment at all times. And God forbid one of us be somewhere where they cannot be. To be fair, Echo doesn't necessarily mind not having access to Brit because Echo is very stupid and only capable of loving one person at a time, and that person is me. And she loves me very much and is getting used to Brit after, 3 years or something. She's a dumb cat. I love you, Echo, but you are a very dumb cat. Um, yeah, so I hope everyone's weekend was good. Not shockingly, I played a lot of video games. Rodney still lives on my Animal Crossing island. Someday I will drive him away. I piled a bunch of trash bags outside his house today, both to try to attract mosquitoes and because I hate him and want him to leave. I've been getting my island sort of whipped into shape, making a residential district, stuff like that, all those things that you don't really have to do, but I wanted to. Got my museum set up on a nice little hill. It's my birthday next week, so I'm planning my Animal Crossing birthday party. I wouldn't be having like a birthday party if things were normal. Like I haven't had a birthday party in a while. Britt and I usually just go to the zoo because then I get to see the cheetahs. But yeah, I figure I can have an Animal Crossing birthday party and that'll be fun. Um, yeah, Final Fantasy VII. I played that today. I think I'm getting to the end. I changed the language to Japanese, which sort of helps. Like, I like the Japanese voices, obviously. It makes me feel like I'm doing something semi-educational because I get to use my degree to try to understand what the characters are saying. But it also means that I can't really zone out during the parts where they're just talking and I want to be playing Scrabble on my phone because Oh no, the door closed behind Nike. I might have to get up to open that again. The window's open, so there's a breeze blowing, is why the door is closing on me. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna finish off the way that light attaches to a girl in a minute here. And then we'll still continue with the series, but this is the last part of the fic. I think it's a little shorter than the other two. I don't remember. But whatever. And then after that, Britt and I are we're finally getting around to watching Little Fires Everywhere. There's Nike's paw coming under the door. Again, Nike, it's been 1 minute. All right, I'm going to go open the door again, and then I will come back and start reading this fic. You're an asshole, cat. You're the worst. Yes, I know. Okay, there. Now it can't blow all the way shut, Nike. You will be free to come and go as you please, because all you really care about is having access to this room. Okay, so that's all settled, and let's get started with fic. Stop smelling the... I put a wooden axe in the door to hold it open, and now Nike's very interested in the wooden axe. Let's not talk about why I own a wooden axe. Okay, fic. Bellamy comes home late from his second to last day of shooting. Wait a minute. I've already misread this. Off to a strong start. Bellamy comes home from his second to last day of shooting late and exhausted. He actually misses stupid child labor laws because shooting forever is fucking rough. Octavia was hanging out on set with him and... Oh my god! The wooden axe is not sufficient to keep the door open, so... This is a bad start. Octavia was hanging out on set with him and she's been passed out for hours. It's hard not to be jealous. Britt came and put something else in the door. Oh my god. Okay. Everything's good. Everything's weird. Okay. I'm just gonna... I didn't get through literally the first paragraph, so we're gonna start over one more time. Bellamy comes home from his second to last day of shooting late and exhausted. He actually misses stupid child labor laws because shooting forever is fucking rough. Octavia is hanging out on set with him and she's been passed out for hours. It's hard not to be jealous. He doesn't bother to wake her up, just picks her up and carries her inside. He's only surprised to find Clark on the couch because he would have assumed she'd text when he was so late getting back. She's had a key forever and he never minds her showing up. Once Octavia's squared away, he sits down with Clark and shakes her awake, smiling as she makes a face and curls in on herself before she wakes up fully. You know you have your own house, right? With a bed and everything. I had a bad day. Just like that, he's awake and not tired at all. Yeah? Her hand comes up to poke his cheek, where he's got some makeup he didn't manage to scrub off. How dirty are you in this movie? By the end, incredibly. What happened? I was hanging out with Lexa. He winces and she gives him a wry smile. I didn't get to the bad part yet. It sounds like a situation that could go very wrong. She puts her head in his lap and he toys with her hair, his best attempt at comfort. I was just saying, we've never actually talked about sexuality or anything before, but I was pretty sure she was gay. And she is. She pauses. Don't tell anyone, obviously. I figure you know how to keep quiet about this stuff. I know. So she turned you down? No, I didn't ask. I wanted to talk about it, the whole queer and on Disney Channel and how that is, and it was kind of okay, but she was weird. And finally she was just like, yeah, but you never have to deal with it. He frowns. What's that supposed to mean? I'm bi, so I can just date guys for the rest of my life and never bother with it. And I know it's true, but that doesn't mean I'm going to. He strokes her hair. You should date like 15 girls, just to show her. Clark laughs softly. You just want to see me kissing girls. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing you kissing girls, he grants. He scratches her scalp. Sorry I was home so late. It's okay, I just wanted to see you. I'm glad. He kisses her forehead. I'm on the record as never liking her. She wasn't wrong. I mean, she was, but it's an option for me, I guess. and she probably does. It's not an option for her, and I can see how she'd be kind of resentful. But it sucks that that's what she thinks I do. Like, just ignore it because I can. Take the coward's way out. She's not out either, Bellamy points out, fair in spite of himself. Grass is always greener or something. You could marry Monty and never have to worry about it. But you wouldn't, because being honest and doing the right thing matters a lot more to you than doing the easy thing. And that's what Lexa doesn't get. She looks at him for a long time and finally says, "You know Monty's gay too, right? He has a crush on your friend the sound guy." "Huh. Nope, that one's news to me." Clark laughs. "Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure." She bites her lip, looking up at him. "Are you gonna keep doing this?" "Coming home and finding you passed out on my couch?" "Oh no, that one's on you. You have a key. I can't stop you." "Not that, you Disney Channel," she says. It still doesn't sound like it's a swear, but it's his favorite thing. "Acting." "Oh." He looks up at the ceiling, considering. "I guess it depends on if I keep getting jobs. I'm not against it." He grins. "Of course, my first choice would be just working with you forever, but that's probably not going to happen." She smiles. "I'll get it into all my contracts. Must have a part for Bellamy." "That's what I'm hoping for." He shrugs. "I'll look for stuff after the show ends, but I don't know. I wouldn't be heartbroken if it was just a weird blip in my life, the whole acting thing." He feels her tense, and he rubs her scalp again. "You wouldn't be. I'm keeping you." "You better. I have a key to your place. I'll just keep coming back." There's a pause, and then she adds, "You should keep doing it. You're really good." "I'm a little too ethnic," he teases. "Go to bed, Clark." Bellamy had figured that playing Ian as officially in love with Penny wouldn't be that different from what he'd been doing before, but it's rougher because now instead of his feelings being in the background, the most obvious subtext of all time, he's supposed to be pining for her, while also dating some random girl he met while she was in Arcadia over the summer, which, God, he hates that stupid plot device. Bellamy has some experience being in love with his best friend and not knowing what to do about it, and dating someone else to keep from dealing with it has never seemed like even a slightly appealing option. But he is again, tragically, not the head writer for the show. So Ian has a forgettable love interest who is being vaguely pitted against Penny. Penny has rekindled her thing with Chad, and they're both pining while Penny tries to figure out how to run a country from high school as her father repeatedly has remissions of his mysterious illness. And Bellamy just has to stare longingly at her all the time, which feels obvious. It's a little too easy to do, honestly. "You should have come out last year," Bellamy tells her when they're reading the latest script in her dressing room. "I think we jumped the shark." "I think we would have had to be better to begin with to jump the shark," Clark says, frowning. "We're just sort of coasting on the shark." "That's not how the shark works." "Whatever. If this is my last Disney Channel show, I'm milking it for all it's worth. Besides, Tristan and Alex invented a cloning machine just so Penny can go on a date and attend a UN summit meeting at the same time. What part of that isn't awesome?" "Did your brother just die off screen? Remember when you had a brother? Are they using his body for the cloning machine?" "Hey, I'm seeing Octavia a lot less this year, and I never ask if she died off screen. It's rude." "That's because she's in 7th grade and allowed to be at home alone. She likes her cats better than she likes us." "Can't argue with that." She gives him a shy smile. "Come on, it's our last season. I don't care how much it sucks. I wouldn't miss it for anything." And Bellamy can't argue with that either. Besides, it does get better. The Penny Chad thing is short-lived, and Bellamy's girlfriend doesn't last much longer, and then they're hitting the predictable beats of him trying to tell her, but he can't because Chad interrupts, or there's a sudden power outage, or she's got an important Skype meeting with a hot young Russian diplomat. "Yeah, review that plotline and tell me we didn't jump the shark," Bellamy grumbles, and Octavia pats him on the shoulder. "Fake you is still closer to telling Clark how you feel than real you is," she points out. "At least he's trying." "We're both still going to make a move around the finale, so it's not like it's doing him any good," Bellamy says, even though Octavia maintains his whole wait until the show is over thing and is dumb, and the argument will not help him. The truth is, he doesn't really know how to make a move. It still feels like a miracle that Clark is in his life at all, and part of him is afraid of ruining everything with his stupid crush. He's still not as famous as she is, still not... Well, she could probably do better. She's going to be a star, and he's a guy on her show. And then Kane gives him the script for the mid-season finale with the smuggest expression Bellamy has ever seen in his life and says, "Here's a twist for you." Bellamy is honestly kind of worried he's been killed off, which would be pretty edgy for a Disney Channel show, but Kane's a weirdo, so who the hell knows? Instead, when he flips the end, he sees kissing. Him kissing Clark. Or, well, Ian kissing Penny, which is, to be fair, way earlier than he saw that coming. Which possibly means they won't be together by the end of the show, but still, he has to give Kane some small amount of credit. He thought they were going to draw it out longer. This actually is a twist. It takes about 10 minutes for Clark to get to his dressing room after he finishes the script, which seems about right. It's a pretty decent episode overall. Minimal extraneous wackiness, solid emotional core, and a couple decent jokes, all building to a school dance Penny thinks she's missed because of her princess duties and car troubles. Only for Ian to show up, apparently to give her a ride in, but then he kisses her instead. "I'm actually going to have to give Kane credit for this," Bellamy remarks when Clark doesn't say anything. "That's a new thing. I don't like it." And then he actually looks at her, sees her balled fists and the determined set of her jaw, and frowns. "What?" "You have to kiss me." "It's not going to be a problem," he says. "You're acting like it's some huge burden. Do you have a curse or something? Are your lips fatal?" "Bellamy." "What?" He tries to smile. "I know it might be weird, but I meant we need to kiss now. Rehearse it. I don't want the first time I kiss you to be in front of everyone. It'll be awkward. What if we're no good at it?" "Oh." He wets his lips. They don't do a lot of rehearsal, not real rehearsal. Usually they just sort of hang out in the studio, half in costume, reading lines and making fun of dumb plot points. This is different, but then again, it's new territory for them. It's supposed to be different. "Yeah, no, you're right. That's a good idea." She nods like she didn't really believe it until he said it too. "Yeah, we want it to be good, right? For your sister and all her shipper friends." He can't help but laugh. "Right, for Octavia. She would definitely love this." "Okay." She nods again, opens up her script, and checks it. "I guess there's not a lot of setup, huh?" "There is so much setup. Everything has been building to this. There was foreshadowing." "You did all the foreshadowing. Marcus should give you a writer credit." "Yeah, that sounds like something he'd do." It feels like he should start irrationally because of the way she's looking at him, but she's the one who has the first line. "So, I get out of the car," he prompts. "Right." And I say, she texts the script. "I didn't think you were going to make it." "I wasn't at the dance anyway." "I thought you were going with..." "No." Clark nods, her Penny nod, more effusive than her normal one, and lets a little smile creep in. "Cool. So, are we gonna go?" "In a minute," Bellamy says, and puts his script down. He tries to discreetly wipe his hands on his jeans, hoping she won't notice, and then he slides his hand under her jaw, tilting her face up to his, and leans down to kiss her. Bellamy hasn't kissed a lot of people in his life. There were a couple of girls before he started working on the show, but he hasn't kissed anyone else since he met Clark, and he really doesn't want to kiss anyone else ever again. It's not even a good kiss. It's not going anywhere because the Disney Channel is not, on a corporate level, aware that tongues can be involved in kissing. But her lips are soft and he can smell her even through the stage makeup, and it's Clark. He should pull back a lot sooner than he does, but he can't bring himself to. And even when he finally does, he doesn't really move away. He stays close, watches her eyes flutter open as she smiles at him, and it's just... he's done. "Disney Channel it," he mutters, the clearest character break he can think of, and kisses her again. Her arms come up around his neck with no hesitation, and she kisses back like she wouldn't have lasted much longer either. He lets his hands drop to her waist, resisting the urge to move them into her hair and muss it up. She'd have to go back to hair and makeup, and they'd never hear the end of it. She opens at the first swipe of his tongue, and then it's nothing but feeling for a long moment. The press of her against him, the slide of her mouth in his. The slide of her mouth in his, there we go. The sheer fucking happiness as he finally kisses Clark Griffin. Then the PA crackles, because they have to be on set in 10 minutes. They just stare at each other for a long second, and Bellamy hopes it's not really obvious that they were making out. Her mouth is a little red, and honestly, his smile is kind of a dead giveaway. Yeah, that was a good idea, he says, bumping his nose against hers, unable to keep away. That would have been really awkward in front of everyone. She laughs and hugs him, resting her head against his shoulder. That's what would have happened in front of everyone, huh? Probably, yeah. He worries his lips. You know, right? You have to know. God, I'm so. I was hoping, she says. She gives him a final squeeze around the neck, and then pulls back. Me too. Should have rehearsed that at home, he grumbles, checking his hair in the mirror. He still looks mostly like Ian, aside from a flush in his cheeks and the grin. Clark laughs and takes his hand, tugging him toward the door. We can later, she offers, and even though it's not a surprise, he still nearly trips over his own feet. He's not much better in his scenes that afternoon, to his shame. They're not actually filming the end of the episode yet, so he's supposed to be kind of serious and pensive, and he keeps ruining it by remembering Clark saying "me too" and accidentally smiling. It's totally unprofessional, but he thinks he's allowed one afternoon of goofy smiling after 2.5 years of good behavior. And Clark loves him. That's a lot more important than this random scene about how Jasper has 2 dates to the dance. He manages workable takes for everything, still apologizes to the rest of the cast and crew for being kind of off, and is profoundly grateful none of his scenes were with Clark, because that would have been impossible. Luckily, they're being mostly kept apart until the final scene, and with any luck, he'll be used to it by then. He's gonna get used to dating Clark. It's still making him grin. Clark tells their driver to just take her to Bellamy's about half the time anyway, so the request isn't anything unusual. It's not even weird when she leans her head against his shoulder, because they do this all the time. Everyone's thought they've been dating for years. Is Octavia home? She asks, breaking his train of thought. I don't know. You're such a shitty legal guardian. He glances at his phone, finds that Octavia did text, working on group project at library, home for dinner. See? She texts. I just ignored her. I'm the best. Clark shifts a little closer and he puts his arm around her. Their driver is probably just happy they've never hooked up in his back seat. Slightly more cuddling than usual is nothing. So she'll be back in like an hour? If we're lucky. Was your afternoon as useless as mine? I kept smiling and breaking character, yeah. Good. Kane asked if I'd finally started doing drugs. He seemed kind of excited about it. Maybe he was going to win a bet. Clark laughs and presses her face against his shoulder. You know, when we talked, it was you. She said I'd never have to do anything because I'd just be with you. Yeah, he says. For as long as you want me. But you should still do whatever you want. I'm planning to, she says, and slides her hand under his shirt where the driver cannot possibly see it, because she wants him to die before they get back to his apartment. Of course, Octavia is already there when they arrive, sitting at the table working on her homework, and Bellamy doesn't notice her before he kisses Clark's neck, so he has to deal with a truly terrifying squeal of delight from her instead of getting laid. I can't believe you didn't tell me, she says, once the euphoria has died down and suspicion has set in. It took all of 3 seconds. Octavia has a very specific set of priorities. It happened today, Bellamy says. This is the first time I've seen you. Her mouth forms a silent O, and she gathers up her books. Okay, so I'm going to go to my room and put in headphones and do homework and... Oh, says Bellamy, rolling his eyes. You don't have to hide. Yeah, we can totally make out right in front of you, Clark says, bright. You're not helping, he says. Seriously, he adds to his sister. We're just going to have dinner and watch TV. Clark doesn't look like she thinks that's what you're doing, Octavia points out. I do, Clark says. I'm just not going home. I already told the driver to pick me up here tomorrow. I can't leave. I won't have a ride. Everyone's going to find out about this in like 5 seconds. Everyone already knows this, Clark shoots back. Come on, Octavia. We can play video games while Bellamy cooks. This sounds like a bad deal for me, Bellamy says, and Clark just beams up at him. He has to lean in to kiss her. He doesn't know how not to. He does manage to keep it quick, at least. And Octavia still makes gagging sounds like she hasn't been telling him to do that for years. You should definitely stay, he tells Clark, soft. And she does. They film the actual kissing scene 3 days later. Jasper and Monty ruin the first take by whooping, and then on the second take he actually trips moving closer to her, stumbles, and nearly knocks both of them over. Don't act like you've never kissed her before, the director teases, and Bellamy rolls his eyes. Aren't I supposed to be acting like I've never kissed her before? He asks, mock serious. This is supposed to be our first kiss. This earns him some more good-natured jeering, and Miller shouts, Which number kiss is this exactly, Blake? A gentleman never tells, Clark says, prim, and they nail the third take. He gives her a perfectly appropriate Disney Channel kiss, pulls back without any difficulty, and watches her, anxious for her reaction, as she slowly opens her eyes and stares up at him, expression unreadable, just like he's supposed to. The director yells, Cut! And there's a general outburst of cheering. Someone thumps Bellamy on the back, and he rolls his eyes. That was an excellent impression of someone who has never kissed Clark, says Monty. Thanks, I practiced, he says, dry. They do tell the rest of the cast, eventually. It's not like they particularly want to keep it a secret, it's just nice to have it to themselves for a while. Well, to themselves and Monty, but that's just because Monty comes in to ask Bellamy about a scene without knocking a day after the kissing scene and finds them making out. But he agrees to keep it quiet until they mention it, after giving them both very long hugs. Everyone else has basically the same reaction when they do announce it. They're entering the final months of filming, and the entire cast and crew are filled with vaguely nostalgic love. Even Lexa gives him a hug when she hears the news, and he and Lexa are, at best, at the level of Facebook friends who see it's the other's birthday and decline to write a message of any kind. The last half of the season is pretty decent. Bellamy is kind of biased because most of his scenes are with Clark again, and there's a lot of holding hands and casual affection, which is impossible not to enjoy. Penny is making up her mind about college in the US versus returning to Arcadia to learn more about how to be a ruler, and Ian is trying to be supportive while not really wanting her to leave. There's the requisite angst about leaving her new boyfriend and her other friends, and Tristan and Alex have their own similar side plot about how they might not get into the same college and would have to live without each other. Chad and Madison get together, Bellamy assumes just because they don't have anything else to do with the characters. It would be hard to say if Finn or Lexa is more annoyed with the situation, except that Lexa is able to be annoyed on actually superhuman levels. Finn just can't reach her levels of disdain. The final scene is nice, wistful, and hopeful. Penny and Ian using a program that is basically, but for legal reasons, not actually, Skype, to catch up on their lives. He's at Stanford and she's at Arcadia University. The rest of the characters get name-checked with current locations and a couple trivia facts, and they say they love each other and make plans to see each other at Christmas. It's not art. It's not going to get any Emmys. But he likes it. And he does have a Kids' Choice Award, which is pretty cool, and another movie lined up for the summer, again not on the Disney Channel. He's going to be the snarky best friend in a romantic comedy, so his plan is to basically channel Miller and see what happens. Clark comes out a week after the finale via an interview in Teen Vogue. It was a deliberate choice on her part, because that's the part of her audience she's really coming out for, the kids who haven't seen as many people as young as she is being open about their sexualities. It's an excellent interview in his more than a little biased opinion. She picked her interviewer herself, and Indra doesn't pull any punches. Clark agrees that she has a serious boyfriend and probably could have avoided coming out when she's asked, and denies that it's a publicity stunt to coincide with the end of the TV show. I wanted it to wait because I didn't know how it would affect the show, she explains in the article. They could have retooled it without me. It's happened before. Demi Lovato left Sunny with a chance and they kept the show going. But I didn't know if that would happen, and I didn't want to put anyone out of a job or leave any fans of the show hanging. I don't have anything else lined up, so whatever happens to my career from here, it won't be a burden on anyone else. It was important to me to come out, but I had responsibilities to my friends, too. It's Disney Channel awesome, he tells her once she gets home. Clark laughs. You know, I think we can swear again. If we're gonna get lifetime bans from everything Disney, I think it's already happened. Speak for yourself. If I want to get back in their good graces, I could still just dump you and beg for their forgiveness. Yeah, that sounds like you. Disney money is good money. I've got a few good years being the hot older brother in me. She laughs again. Yeah, okay, you convinced me. You should definitely denounce me. Any day now. He kisses her hair. You okay? Yeah, I'm okay. It's nice. I've gotten a bunch of calls from people who still want to cast me. Yeah? Yeah, she worries her lip. A new TV show, actually. Good one? I think so. It sounded cool. Nothing fancy, family dramedy slice of life. But it's Jason Katims, the Friday Night Lights guy, so it'll probably be critically acclaimed and underwatched. So why don't you sound happy? It films in Vancouver. Everything films in Vancouver. She pokes him. You're here. Yeah, but like I said, everything films in Vancouver. I could be in Vancouver. I can do guest spots on Criminal Minds. She squints at him like she's misheard, like she thinks she misheard. You just, you want to move to Vancouver? She asks. Want is a strong word, but I will. Or maybe I won't. I'd have to talk to O, but I'd consider it. Just like that? Maybe it should be harder. Maybe it should keep him up for a few nights, weighing the pros and cons. But he's still got a lot in savings. Cost of living is probably lower up there. He could probably take some classes if he doesn't find an acting job. Maybe get a degree or something. Just like that, he confirms. A pony, says Octavia. What? You got me cats for setting you up with the Disney gig, but I don't think that was enough. Considering, acting career, famous girlfriend, you making me move to Vancouver. I'm not making you, we're talking about it. But Clark's got a series regular spot. I've got an offer for a recurring guest thing with the chance to go regular, so I think I should get a pony. What would you even do with a pony? Where would we keep it? She thinks this over. Okay, fine. A dog. You're getting me a dog. Deal. I get you a dog and we're even. And moving to Vancouver. Nope. We can go to Vancouver, but you're still going to owe me for the rest of your life. Later, when he tells Clark and she throws her arms around him and kisses him, he thinks, yeah, for the rest of his life. Okay, so that's the end of that fic. We'll be back a week from today with the next part in this series, and I haven't actually finished the May calendar, so I don't remember exactly how long it takes us to get through the series, but there are a few more parts. We'll just plow through them on Sundays. So I will see you, I guess, either on Tuesday or Thursday or next Sunday, depending on, or I guess on any day, because you could be watching this any day. This is not getting better the more I talk, so we're just going to be done. I hope everyone has a good night. And stay safe, y'all. Bye.